Well, that finished 0-0, and Peru were hugging themselves at the end of that game. Their point giving them 3 points, and with Iran to play, they see themselves now into the second round. My very elementary computer said that Scotland would need to beat Holland by 4 goals. A much more sophisticated one belonging to Mr. Crerand says that it's 3 goals, but it's still an enormous task facing Scotland now on Sunday.
I said the other night, Brian, I think Scotland are out. And I think, I mean, we're talking about them beating Holland by 3-0. How can you see a team that's playing the way Scotland are beating anybody 3-0?
Right.
You know, I felt so sorry for Ali McLeod watching him. He must have been going through all sorts of hells there. I mean, the players just didn't play on the pitch.
No, they didn't.
I think he looks as though he's aged about, with respect to him, about 10 years in a fortnight.
Obviously, the last couple of days it's taken its toll, but as Paddy says, when you talk about now Scotland, you're really grasping at thin air when you say you have to win 3-0 against Holland when we can't even score a goal against Iran. You know, Iran did score a 2 in them, so yes. You're asking for an awful lot.
So there are millions of people in Scotland and Scottish fans south of the border saying, why? Why did it happen?
I don't know.
I'm speechless. You know, I think I feel sorry for the people who've gone over there. Yeah. I can't help. You know, it seems to always say this at times. I don't want to put the boot in because I wanted them to do well, and I think most English people did. But those people who've travelled over there, they've paid a lot of money to go there. They just haven't had anything back in return, and they must be very disappointed.
But with respect to you as professionals as well, players don't go out determined to play poorly. I mean, they don't. I mean, there was frustration on the faces of the players there.
I think the whole scene has got through the Scottish team, and it had before the game tonight. The way they played showed. I mean, they've been under so much pressure after the loss against Peru with little Willie Johnson in that situation. You know, the players are going on under tremendous pressure tonight, and I think they played that way as if they were under tremendous pressure.
But world-class players play well under pressure, don't they?
Well, let's be fair. World-class players play badly as well, but as I say, collectively,
but not a team that was so good, and I mean, it had every chance to go there to play. You can't name one player in that Scottish side who has honestly played half as good as he's capable of playing. Not half as good, apart from Alan Rough. I would take him completely out. I think the lad has done really well and proved a lot of us wrong about his ability. But take him out and take all the outfield players. You just can't tell me one player who's gone over there and done himself any good at all.
That's been the big thing, really, because you can get away with maybe a couple of players not doing it on the day. But when, as Kevin says, every outfield player, I mean, you can't, as he says, pick one that's shown anything at all. You know, every outfield player doesn't do it, then you're really struggling.
The passion was so bad. We finished up a situation where Willie Donachie kicked Martin Buchan, and then with that daft free kick round the box that Ian St John commented about, you know, when it was pushed on top of Asa Hartman before he was even ready.
Did you say, Pat, the fundamental error in Scotland's approach or their tactics?
I think Scotland have got a self-destructive thing about them. You know, they build themselves up so much, and maybe they don't prepare themselves as well as they should. They've got this great thing about we've got passion and we'll do this and we'll do that. And when it comes down to the fundamental things, we don't do the simple things. We just think that we can get carried away by whatever it is we've got inside us.
I think possibly the draw for the World Cup at the time, I don't think did Scotland any good in their preparation, because immediately people said, well, that's Holland and Scotland through, which I think was the wrong thing to do, and it's proved was the wrong thing to do. And possibly had they been drawn in a tougher section, then their attitude might have been that little bit different. But I think the attitude was wrong.
I think we in the media didn't help there.
No, exactly, yeah.
I mean, even if the players felt that, we also felt.
They were built up so highly, Brian. It was unbelievable.
But the same thing as well, Brian, when we talk about the fundamental things, we should have known all about Peru. We should have known which each Peru player had for breakfast, had for dinner and had for supper. But we didn't know blooming anything about them. When they came out in the pitch, they were flying all over the place. As from there, it's all fallen apart.
And this would be an even more disappointing performance overall than the defeat against Peru, presumably.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, of course it was. Well, no harm to Iran, but they're not reckoned to be anything in world football, and we can't even score a goal against them. But poor Ali there, he must be going through hell there.
You see, you can't do much on the bench. People would be screaming probably at home, why doesn't he bring on Derek Johnson, why doesn't he bring on someone else? But he's made 5 changes like people wanted. Another one wouldn't have, I don't think, made any difference tonight. No. He couldn't possibly have brought anyone else.
I think there comes a time when players have got to turn around and say, you know,
it's up to us now.
It's our fault. They've got to carry the can sometimes. Every professional has to one day carry the can and say, look, you know, we'll build up and everything else. But we were out there on the pitch. We're the ones who didn't do anything about it. I think the Scottish players have let not only the manager down, they've let themselves down.
Yes. But they've let everyone down. I'm sure the people in Scotland must. Well, we all feel ill, but I'm sure the people in Scotland must feel even worse than we do.
Yes. I think in a moment we should be going across to Cordoba to speak to Ali McLeod. I mean, the poor man will get quite a reception when he gets
You
home.
know something? I think Ali McLeod's got a lot of guts if he can come on the television now and speak to anyone. I mean, it takes great courage to do
It'll be
that.
interesting to see what he talks about tonight, actually, Brian. Very interesting.
I've never seen a side disintegrate as quickly as Scotland did. I mean, from 9 months ago, you really had to say, from what we'd seen of them, all right, maybe we're a little bit insular, that on their best form, they could be a threat to anybody. And I think we all agreed that, didn't we?
It's surprising how much psychology comes into football. They were psychologically in a bad way before they went out there today. After the Peru, they took the Peru result on there with them, and they never shrugged it off. I thought they'd come out fighting, and I thought we'd see a completely different side tonight.
And it wasn't only the Peru game they took on you. The previous couple of days before the game as well, they've been taken onto the park, and it would affect them. It showed tonight that they were carrying the last 3 or 4 days with them.